So this is one of those passion projects. This particular time I wanted to work with people that respect the way I want to tell cinema. Most people in that production were there because they wanted to be there. And that made it magical. It was truly, genuinely magical. I am Miguel Miller. I'm the director of the movie ANTONI. I'm one of those actors director. I live on my actors. I live through my actors. I treasure them, respect them. I admire them so much. So the craft of making a film is what I live for. It's what drives me. I wrote the project not even thinking I was going to direct it. I wrote it to get it out of my system. But I really had the urge to do it. I just didn't think I was ready to do it. I didn't think I was going to be able to find the talent to take on this task, go on this journey with me. But the very first person that came on board was David LeBlanc.
I've been friends with Miguel for about 10 years, and I've worked on a few projects with him before. He asked me to be a part of the project. I was willing to listen to the story, and then eventually he revealed that he's actually the writer.
I said, hey, this story came to me, and I would like to see how you feel. I'm very inspired by it. That's all I said.
I couldn't turn it down because Miguel is a very creative person, and I love him, and I wanted to be a part of it.
So as the more I told David about it, the more he got engaged, to a point that he even helped me produce his own aspect of it. And so he was my strongest solid piece. So from there on, we cast Karen, and that's how it started forming, it started building. Two of the last people that came on board were the character of Anthony, which is played by Lolo, and the main character, Antonia, which is played by Johnny Atrocity.
My acting teacher, Gigi, she is good friends with the director, Miguel, and she said, I may have someone in mind for you. So she sent it to me, I read it, and the same night I called him, we booked an audition the next day.
When he auditioned, he came over, he's such a stocky, macho man, and I told my partner, I was like, I don't know if this can happen. I mean, I see him in front of the camera, and I see he's ranged, but he's going to have to do a lot of homework, and it's homework that I can't do for him. I can facilitate some things, but ultimately it's the job of an actor to become the character.
I booked the role knowing that I had only 1 week to prepare for it. One of the reasons why I really wanted this role is because it was so challenging. So many things I had to change physically. I had to lose some weight. I lost maybe 10 pounds. I also was researching lots of different things about transgender community. I watched countless videos of people and their stories, how these people interact and what kind of adversities they go through every day. I felt kind of overwhelmed. I did doubt myself a lot, even during production. Can I, accomplish this in a week? Can I even accomplish the audition, But I always try to find some kind of relatability with any character I play.
Carlos, I'm ready. Because of the subject of this movie, the topic matter was very difficult. I was not finding the young actors, and that became a big cloud over the production. So to a point that, we're going to shoot principal photography, and we're going to leave these particular scenes, which is a flashback of young Anthony, for later. When I got Lolo, and after I cast Lolo, he came over and he was so amazing. He was really the character. So I had to discuss with the parent what the topic matter was. I had to ensure them that I was going to protect them. And I was going to do everything that I needed to do to make sure that this kid came out of our production with a learning experience, not a disappointment. So they trusted me, and it was really a great work in progress there. But then it came the part that I needed to shoot physicality between these two kids. I alluded to a kiss of them when they were between 7 and 10. It haunted me worse than the actual production. As a director, I'm not the one that needs to explain to a 7-year-old kid, okay, these two people love each other and they're from the same sex. It's not what you see in your mom and dad, but it is also love. That's the job of a parent to do. My job is to get a movie done, and once again to protect everyone involved along the way. So I discussed with the parents, and I don't want to tell them what the movie's about. I'm going to create a story around it that will convey the emotion that I need from them. And when it comes to the physical, then we'll deal with that. I didn't know how I was going to do it, if I was going to do it, but it came to me. When I was 15, 16 years old, I had seen a surreal painting from René Magritte called The Two Lovers. I felt sad, thinking, why would they have to cover their faces? The more I look at it, the more sad I felt. I didn't know who that was. I don't know why that painting affected me that way. I don't know what was happening to me, but I was touched by it. I have a surreal mind when it comes to filming, and now I understand a little why I was so drawn to that painting at that age. Everything just came back floating. And I was like, oh, this is the angle I need to take. That was tough. That was tough, but at the same time, very inspiring. It was, believe it or not, probably the best day of shooting in terms of technicality. We run so smooth that day of shooting that every problem that came, we were able to overcome it very, not easy, but very successful. An audience don't know this because an audience just go and watch the film, but you have so much that could go wrong, and they normally do. Shooting is about overcoming those problems. You as an audience just gonna go see this film and analyze it and later critique it, and that's what we make it for, so you can critique it. Whether you like it or not, it's okay. But it was a magical day. It was magical because I was able to imprint myself into a piece based strictly on my emotions. I think it is that part of the film is the part of the film that is more me. The rest of the film is more Antonia, her journey, her quest through life. So that was very inspiring part of the film for me. It might be just literally a second, frame or two, whatever it is. I hope I can still get it in. And that scene overall was the most difficult one in terms of casting and crafting.
Got it?
Yes.
Yay! Stay here.
In terms of shooting, I think the most difficult one to shoot was the scene where Mr. Silverman gets killed. It was so uncomfortable. I was the one that shot it, and it was so difficult. At one point, I'm shooting and I was crying, and I didn't want my actors to see me crying. It was so out of my comfort zone. It was so out of my element. I mean, I'm not a guy that cries in movies, and here I am operating a camera and crying in front of my actors. I think they didn't see me, and I'm crying because I see how difficult this is for all of us. It's just the three of us in that room, but it's still very difficult, and I'm worried and I'm scared. It was not the scene itself, the emotions behind the scene. It was the sacrifice the actors were making and how uncomfortable shooting this scene was for all of us. When you shoot a scene like this that is so physical, and it is also emotionally draining in all aspects, you worry that you will deliver the right piece, that you will be good by your actors, you'll be good by your crew, you'll be good by the audience. So all of those things came into mind, and all of a sudden my emotions were just everywhere. But I'm looking at some of the footage and some of the behind the camera, and I realized that I look very tired. My body, it doesn't tell me that I'm tired. My brain is constantly going. So during like a week of production, I'm sleeping an hour or two a day. I told my partner, I said, I feel that my body is going to collapse, but my brain is going. It's constantly going. And I'm the sharpest and I'm the happiest. But my body needs something that I'm not giving it. But I concentrated on the story, telling the story the way I wanted to tell the story. My movies, even the ones that I did early on in my career, are special to me. Each story has its own DNA. So each story would tell you what yet needs or what doesn't need. I'm trying to grow every day as a filmmaker. That's why I pose myself challenges. If I just remain within what I know, then I feel like I'm not growing. So this is what's going to happen. The exact same action is going to be here. I have done other LGBT projects before, but nothing to this level of physicality. Some things changed because once again, I'm working with limited budget, limited access. So there's things that I had to morph to make it happen and to tell a story. I wrote a scene to be taking place at a hotel, and that changed for the better. So far, the movie that I shot is very close to the movie that I wrote. When it comes to the editing is it's a different craft. It's a different world on its own. I had to give the editor creative freedom to do that, create. But in reality, things may change because I had to deal with continuity issues. I had to deal with line delivery issues. So I'm going to try to stick to my story the closest possible. So editing and coloring, I'm going to approach it as the film calls for it. I think that because I was able to direct Antonia in the way I directed Antonia, I'm able to, and I'm ready to direct a feature film for the LGBT community that is able to convey their needs and wants. Yes, always do that. They are what matters right now. As a viewer, what I would really want you to take out of this is respect. That everyone has a personal struggle. If we respect others the way we want to be respected, we might have a better understanding. I also want you to know that because you and I are different, we are not that much different. We go through the same struggle. The trans community is being so misunderstood for so long by so many of us. They go through the same things that we do. They get accused of things that they haven't done. They had to build walls to protect themselves.
A lot of people don't accept you for things about yourself. You know, there's lots of aspects of my life that people in my family did not like, such as acting. That's been a huge struggle for me. It's almost been a thing where I've almost had to be kicked out of my own home because I've had to want to pursue this passion almost all completely on my own. It's very challenging when you're not being appreciated by people, when you're not being accepted by someone for what you love to do or even who you are or what you believe. So I think that fear of people just not accepting you for who you are, I think that's definitely there for me and Antonio.
You're gonna go up, and the whole thing is gonna take place there. Okay. Then, so we're gonna take the stages that we're looking to talk about.
All right.
So, how does that start? Give me a second.
Let me grab my purse.
Yeah, grab everything you need to. We have all these senses when we're growing up, but we don't know. We need guidance. We start giving signs to our parents. This is how I'm going to be. This is how I'm crafting my life, and I need your guidance to craft my life. And we take things from our parents, but ultimately we become our own person. We make our own journey.
When you're a child, maybe you might have experienced things where you're reprimanded. I can relate to that from my childhood. For some reason, I feel like I was reprimanded a lot and maybe too much. And as an adult, I broke away from all of that. So I think I became a freer person and was able to experience my true emotions.
You as parents want that to happen. Being a parent is probably one of the toughest jobs in history. How do you handle when you see signs of a child They might be gay. Do you tell the whole world? Do you outcast the child? What do you do? I'm no one to tell you. I'm only tell you what I'll do, but it's a tough job. And if there's something I want people to take from this movie, is that being feeling that you might be in the wrong body at an early age may be a sign. You don't need to act right away as a parent. You don't need to start dressing your boy or girl with a different sex outfit. You don't need to tell the whole world either. But maybe you may want to sit back and be there and listen and observe more, and then be there and listen and observe some more, because throughout time that young boy or girl may be experiencing some changes, and maybe at the age of 7 wanted to dress with female clothes and play with a doll and do all those things. Maybe at the age of 12 wanted to put on makeup, but maybe not. It doesn't mean he might not be gay or he might be gay. A child is just giving you signs of what it might become, but we don't know. So, food for thought. Thank you so much. Let's get it done.
Roll camera.
Speed. Antonia, scene 2A, take 4.
I'm gonna say action, Paul.